Hello. Oh, we've already got a shocked emoji.
Facebook says the live video has not started yet. Well, it's not very live then, is it?
Now?
It's sort of like undercooked. It's like medium rare. Biancui? No, that's well cooked, isn't it? Well, good evening. Good evening, James. Good evening, Dan.
The question is, how should your steak be cooked?
Depends on the restaurant, really.
With another one.
Yeah. But if we're what was the name of the restaurant Tony took us to?
Oh gosh, I can't remember now.
I can't remember. It was absolutely genuinely. I think it's the best steak I've ever had. That I would say I would go for rare. At a very good restaurant, I would go for medium rare, and at Wetherspoons, I'd go for a burger.
Brettington's, it was called, Richard.
Brettington's, that's it. Brettington's, which is very near Rochester railway station, does, in my opinion, probably the best steak I've ever had. Even better than the Smugglers in Birchington. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, well, there we go.
Gosh, it's a busy evening. Look how many people are joining us.
So good to see you all. And we've got so much Star Trek to talk about, Nadim. It's coming out of our ears.
I mean, it could be an interesting feature. How would certain members of the Star Trek crew eat their steak? Yeah.
Well, we know that Shaw has it blue.
Worf would have it blue.
I mean, but Shaw's is Romulan ale blue.
Gates would probably eat the salad. You know. Well, hi, Martin. So, we've got a lot of people watching tonight. If you've not seen the show before, please say hi in the comments, and please tell us who your favourite character is and what your favourite series is. We'd love to hear from you, so please say hello in the comments.
Cisco would have jambalaya. Jambalaya.
I got a friend request from who plays his girlfriend? Captain Cassidy Yates. Is it Penny?
Penny Gerald.
It's bizarre. I got a friend after the sci-fi ball. You know when I was mistaken for a celebrity?
Yes.
Yeah. I got a friend request off of Robert O'Reilly, someone else who's a producer, and now had a friend request off of Penny, what's her face as well. It's very bizarre. I still haven't worked out who I'm supposed to be either. Maybe I'm
I know who you are. I know who you are. Give me 2 seconds. I'll find it out.
I'd like to be your agent, please, Richard. I'll make up a credible backstory for you.
Well, friend of the show, Vicky, actually pursued the staff to find out which celebrity they thought I was, and they were convinced I was in a film with Cameron Diaz.
You were in a TV show. I know which one. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to introduce Isaac from the Orville.
Which one's Isaac, the robot?
Yes.
He hasn't got a beard, has he?
Well, he's got a metal face. We can't see his face.
He has got a shiny top, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes. Yes.
My favourite scene is where they put the potato head face on him.
My favourite one is when he cuts off that other officer's leg for a laugh. For a practical joke. That's great. That's fantastic. You should do that to your colleague at work you keep doing random things to. Like for a joke, cut off her leg.
And then hide it in the fake ceiling.
No. Then keep it in the freezer and then eat it.
No, we know someone like that, don't we? We'll not go there. Anyway, so shall we start with Picard?
We're gonna go straight in for talking about Picard. Are we going to go straight in?
The spoiler sound effect thingy.
Okay.
Not this one.
If you have not yet seen Picard, what are you doing watching us? You should be watching Picard because it's brilliant. We're now going to. Where do we start? Where do we start? Well, we'll start with the Orville because you're absolutely right, Nadim. I think season 3 is the best season they've made of the Orville. I really enjoyed it. Sadly, it's looking more like it's not been picked up yet. And yes, I am. Thank you, Sarah. But for those of you that weren't at the Sci-Fi Ball, yes, I was treated like a VIP celebrity the whole weekend, and we could not figure out why. And I blagged a lot of stuff. It was quite insane.
Charity event.
Charity event. I had to give a lot of charity, but so this week's Picard. I take it you've both seen it.
Yes, and Ted Lasso.
And it's so good to have Lasso back.
Ted Lasso.
Talk about Lasso in a moment.
You bing bongs.
Let's talk because James has sent me some slides.
Yes. So the slides are the Starship Intrepid, which turned up in this week's episode of Picard. So we've got yet another gorgeous new ship.
Yeah, let's start with that then. So let's just make sure I'm not sharing my current browser history from Pornhub. No, right. Okay. So here we have it. Oh no, this is my history from Pornhub. That does look suspicious, doesn't it? I'm sorry, but it does. That looks a lot like a lady's toy.
For her pleasure.
It does.
Yes, this is the Dunderstadt class USS Intrepid, which turns up with a special guest on board. Let's have a look at the next slide, please. So, yes.
I apologise for the Abrams lens flare that's coming over here. It's something to do with the screen share on my HDR monitor, but yeah. There we are.
Yes, the name and the numbers are in negative image because the hull is black. That's quite interesting. And yes, this is the unusual feature of it. It's that sort of underslung secondary hull that's connected at the back rather than the front.
I think that's because the hum of the warp engine is better there.
In the plans I've seen of it.
Hang on, wrong bit, wrong slide. No.
This is called the secondary hull extra long range special duty sensor deflector. So
as I like to call it,
but it does look cool, doesn't it?
It's the noise it makes.
It's reminiscent of the, the auxiliary fuel tanks that you get on some of the long-range surveillance crafts.
It's exactly what I was thinking. Yep.
On low hung and I wonder if it was swappable out for different operations and stuff. But
well, that's kind of how they designed the Nebula class, wasn't it? Like an AWACS pod on the top of it. So similar design. But anyway, it's very cool, very sleek.
And
so
that
AWACS we've had the Stargazer, we've had the Titan, and now we've got the Intrepid as hero ships in the last 2 years.
So hopefully someone in the comments will be able to enlighten me here, because I'm not saying one's better than the other, but it is very different to anything that's been churned out by Discovery. I think this is superior. Are we having different designers on this show than what we had in Discovery?
Yes.
Well, but this is Drexler again, isn't it?
Oh, right. Okay. And he didn't work on Discovery.
TNG crew now.
And as the comment, I'll put it back on.
Yeah. After Dorothy Duda, he's also said that it's a nuclear town in. Where is it? He said. I'll find the comment. It's a city somewhere. I'm sure someone in the comments can come up and find it if I can't. Anyway, yes, it's unusual. It's new. It's cool.
It's better than anything that's been kicked out by Discovery, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's absolutely wonderful.
Although it doesn't get more than one episode without it being dinged up, does it?
Well, it's obviously now it's in control of the shapeshifters. So, who knows what they're going to do with it? It's
Thank you, Nadim. Let's just let's have a look. So, can we have the picture back? We'll compare. Here's the Malon crater. No, I'm not really seeing it.
No, it's not quite got the same. It's not got the same aesthetically pleasing edges of the Malon freighter, does it?
Can we just put the picture back up one more time, please? I do wonder on that secondary hull, if you look just past where the stripe comes, there's two almost door-like affairs. If you scroll down a little bit, Richard. The two sort of dark grey areas. And I wondered if this was like the Voyager feet, where it could land on a planet type thing.
Oh, that'd be grossly overbalanced, wouldn't it?
Well, just like Voyager was.
No,
Yeah,
Voyager.
So your mouse is there. I wonder if those retracted up and the landing pods came out.
I wonder if your first idea about the bottom pleasure area could actually be completely disassembled, removed, and something else put in place. But either way, it was absolutely lovely. So whose jaw hit the ground? Because I had no idea. I managed to avoid all spoilers. I had no idea that Ensign Rowe was going to make an appearance.
Well, Commander Rowe.
Did you recognise her straight away? Because I generally, within a millisecond of her being on screen, even though she was quiet for I was like, shit, it's Rowe. Like straight away, I picked her up. Although her ridges looked less pronounced. I thought, to being nitpicky, looked quite different to John ridges. They seemed like they weren't as the makeup was less heavy.
Or maybe as in universe, maybe as Bajorans get older, the ridges become less pronounced.
Yeah, possibly that
Is
could
that
be
the ridge sag?
But the first thing I thought, and I think I was watching with my kids, I said, it's Rowe. I went, that bitch. I was like, God.
But Richard, could you do it in the voice of the Tiger King?
That bitch.
Roll Aaron.
That bitch, Ensign Rowe. She went out and joined the Marquis. That's what she gone done.
I'll tell you what, you dig under her septic tank.
But honestly, I said, oh my God, it's Rowe. And I went, that bitch, go on, Picard. Fucking have her. Go on, give her a piece of your mind. And he did. It was brilliant.
Oh, then it became a bit of a heart-to-heart, didn't it? Oh, you broke my heart. Oh.
How the hell did she get back into Starfleet? I mean,
well, there is a bit for that. I'm not sure if you know. I want to say it's DS9 or it's Voyager. There was a very throwaway line that when the Dominion War started, any surviving member of the Marquis was pardoned by Starfleet.
Well, even if you were a member of Starfleet when you decided to become a terrorist?
They were massively low on people.
Stretching it.
They were massively low on people and people with experience. She had additional commando experience. I imagine
No, I think it was in Picard, Dan. I think it may have been Seven was talking about it. They found out what happened when they got back on Voyager.
I wouldn't have had her on my ship. Not a chance.
Now,
not without a damn good French.
Let me find it. As to the Intrepid,
honestly, Sarah, you've got such a filthy mind. We've been politely ignoring the fact that this looks like something called an EBO, which is you can Google it. An EBO. It's an instrument that you use with an electric guitar. It has an oscillating magnet.
Nice.
And it does look a lot like an EBO. Yes.
Well, there we go. Yes, Christoph, quite right. When we went and played golf, we should have found more balls to make into Malon freighters. But for RikerCon 3, we'll see if we can do that for you.
I think possibly if for RikerCon 3, for our competition, we could have tables with string, PVA glue and stuff and have a crafting competition, a bit like Ready Steady Cook, Ready Steady Malon. And you have to try come up with a Malon freighter. Yeah.
You promised me we'd do it more A-team style and we'd lock people into barns with a load of metal plates and heavy welding gear and see if they could make a tank.
Ready Steady Malon. One table will have PVA glue, another table will have sort of Italian cooking recipes and utensils and ingredients, and another table will have to use their imagination. Something like that. It's bound
That's
to
a
be
spicy meatball.
undebatable. So we've got to try and... Are we any close to figuring out what's going on with Jack?
Well, I think we may have crossed over with Stranger Things.
Right, okay. So I think if you're going down that road, then I think my first guess of him being part of Species 8472 that's my current front runner. I strongly suspect, because of their enhanced telepathic abilities, etc., I think he's either one of them or has been duped by them or such and so forth. They're my current front runners.
Okay.
No, is anyone going to come up with something better? I mean, you probably can't, but
Well, is there a chance that Picard still had nanites in him when he fathered Jack? Is there a Borg dimension to this?
Oh, I see. And they sort of contaminated his semen.
Well, why not? Nanobots can be anywhere, can't they?
So your big bad, you're going for the Borg then?
Could be the Borg.
Okay. All right. Linda's gone for... This was my second thought. My second thought was the Par Wraiths. But let's be honest, that was a really lame conclusion to DS9, and let's not dig up that old shit again. So let's hope not.
Thank you for that, Martin.
It's an electric guitar tool called an EBow. Okay, Google it. It's not a sex toy. Okay, it's a genuine thing called an EBow. It's an oscillating magnet that you can play your electric guitar with. It depends what you have to build, Vicky. For example, if James had to build a gin and tonic, he would win.
I've got this, so I'm going to see if I can't build an aircraft carrier.
Depends how big the aircraft is. Okay, so we've got Par Wraiths, the Borg, or Species 8472. I suppose it could be a new and completely unknown one, but we'll have to see.
Vicky's with me on this, Richard.
We've got 2 for Borg.
Oh,
We've got 2 for Par Wraiths. Oh, let's not dig up that old shit again. Please, let's not have the Par Wraiths. That was crap.
no.
The actor playing Jack is a friend of my other half. Ooh. So, can you get us some inside information?
Well, no, we don't want. Oh, hang on. Daniel's got it. Here we go.
I thought this. I thought there was a good chance.
Nicely done, Dan. Nicely done.
I can imagine Dan delivering that completely deadpan on a panel. Just
What are you thinking, Dan?
He's still Googling that EBow.
I mean, we know Law's coming in.
Yes, we suspect he's what's been stolen from Daystar.
Bear with me. We know Law's coming in. And that sort of red across the wall thing, I thought this week looked sort of a little bit more. You know how when you see a picture of a snowflake?
Yes.
Yes.
So I wondered, could it be crystalline entity?
I'm not feeling that one myself.
I just wanted to say, just see James's face. Because Law was very into Christian Identity.
Well, we're fairly sure that Law's been stolen from Daystrom, and we're fairly sure that the AI that guards Daystrom is Moriarty. I think that's
Oh, you
pretty
think
much
that's
it.
the AI?
Yeah. Did no one else get that? Really?
Well, there's some logic to it, but he's so dangerous and driven by evil. Why would you want him guarding all your most valuable
But he
stuff?
wasn't. He stuffed Polanski full of crumpets. Remember? He was a good, he was a good guy. No, I think he's the AI that's guarding. Well, okay, it's possible he could be the program they use to circumnavigate the AI to get into Daystrom, but I think he is the AI that's guarding Daystrom, and I think Law is what was stolen from Daystrom.
Yeah. Although B4, he was just in a drawer back on Earth, wasn't he, in Girardi's office?
Yes, I think he's still in a drawer back on Earth in Girardi's office.
Well, why would B4 be in a relatively insecure location and Law in a much more secure one?
Because B4's a blithering idiot.
Just a question. As Girardi
He's
is
as
now,
dangerous. He's as dangerous as a George Foreman grill.
I'd like to say that as Girardi is now a queen, isn't her office now officially an embassy?
Or a palace?
Is she a queen? A queen of what?
She's queen of the
Borg.
Borg.
Is she?
Does this
Did
make
you watch season 2 of Picard at all, Richard?
I did. It didn't make sense to her. And
Do you remember who turned up at the end?
Q.
Well, Girardi is the Borg queen.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
Hang on. There's an important point that's been made here.
I can't. Can someone translate that for me? What?
Law is more dangerous, but B4 is in Girardi's drawers.
Up her hatch, almost.
Yes.
Well, so
See what's
B4's
happened, look.
yes, B4 is about as dangerous as a George Foreman. So there's no point in keeping him under lock and key. I mean, what else from this week's episode? Cool. There's a lot of change. There's a lot. You recovered, Dan? Have you had a puff on your inhaler? There's a lot of changelings everywhere. I mean, literally, they are. I thought when they hinted at the changelings being a splinter faction last week, I thought that it would be like one or two. I mean, generally, I thought like one or two, maybe three changelings are splintered off. I don't think like a infiltrated. I mean, it's got Shadows. What was the series one with the worms on the back of the neck?
Well, we never knew what they were called.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's them. Oh, maybe it's them again. Maybe it's them again with a better plan. But it when they said it's we're infiltrated at the highest level, can't trust anyone. It had massive throwbacks to that episode, and I was thinking, wow, this is a lot more than two or three changelings. This is serious now. This is this is really bad stuff, and it's not and the old tactics they had of detecting the changelings don't work. So, I mean, now you've got the whole what's your favourite colour? Blue, no red. That's the only way you're going to sort of tell a changeling now, isn't it? By catching them out.
Here's a bucket. Do you want to use it to clean the windows or liquidize yourself into it? Oh, liquidize. Oh, you got me.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, the problem is at the moment they've had that sort of checking ability that we have at airports in this country, which is you've gone to board a starship and there's a man with a clipboard going, "Are you a changeling?" No. Oh, on you go then.
Good enough for me.
What's the purpose of your visit? To shapeshift and look like? Oh no!
Did you pack this bucket yourself, sir, or did someone come round and pack it in your hotel for you? Well,
Reminds me of the old boarding cards or landing cards for the States. Is the purpose of your visit to incite civil unrest and foment rebellion? Sole purpose of visit.
So I mean, there's a lot to unpack from this week's. I mean, we've got so many developments. How did we feel about Rose? Well, she did. I guess she sacrificed herself for the Federation, didn't she? I think she redeemed herself in doing that. How did that make us all? How do we feel about that? I mean, I was thinking good riddance, but other people, how did other people feel about that?
So it seemed a shame, didn't it, to burn the character up in that quickly.
I mean, I'll take the lead on this one. So I did message you two as I watched the episode of Picard, and I've talked about it a couple of times, but in the show, I'm not in the best place at the moment. So in my head, and I found it was probably the most emotional episode of Star Trek I've watched for probably 20 years.
Was that because of Ro?
Well, there was obviously the reintroduction, and that with Ro. I had a proper moment when we thought a certain Klingon might have shuffled off to Sto-Vo-Kor.
Yeah. I never thought I never thought he was dead. that didn't watch with me, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it was quite a shock is awful moment for several things, and yeah, it makes me wonder what other characters, what other character arcs or bits that we're going to see sort of come back. Ro was a small thread that was left dangling, and they've now, finished that one off. What other ones in TNG and DS9 might just pop up, which are, either bit parts or parts that you think, that character's fairly safe, but maybe not that.
I mean, Avery Brooks is.
We'll go on the Intrepid, and Harry Kim will still be on there as an ensign.
Well, Sisko's story arc was never properly completed. I mean, I've got, and this is getting very out there now, I've got this theory where I think pretty much every episode, so long as Sarah enjoyed Picard.
Why are you watching us and having not,
But I've suspected that we've not got a single episode this season of Picard without, mostly Shaw, but people poking the finger, including themselves, at Picard and Riker saying, look, you might think you're the good guys all the time, but you're not. You cause a lot of damage. You cause a lot of problems. That's been consistent every week. And if you've ever seen the Godfather films, spoiler alert for the Godfather Part 3, like the original plan was to kill Al Pacino's character off, and they actually felt, you know what, that's actually too good for him. Let's have him kind of die in a vineyard, kind of on his own, ultimately alone, for kind of all the sins that he's done. Although all the sins he's done have appeared necessary at the time, and I am wondering if we're going to get a very sad goodbye to Picard's character at the end of this. I'm thinking we're going to have a Godfather Part 3 ending for Picard.
Well, you sort of said there about how they've pointed the finger at Picard and Riker and said, you're the bad guys. I think we can, in TNG and DS9 and Voyager, very much say, Picard, obviously, is not, you could say he was responsible for the Borg. He goaded Q through them to the Borg. You've got Avery Brooks, who single-handedly started the Dominion War, and then you got Catherine Janeway, 8472. So
the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Very much.
But I just wonder if that's because it seems to be a repeated theme. They're bringing it up every episode. I do wonder if actually we're going to have a very tearful goodbye to Picard. I think it's not going to be a nice ending, but we'll see. That, Gary, is a really good point, because a change in his bucket is very distinctive.
Does it have to be a specific bucket, or will any bucket do?
God, we've been talking about Star Trek solidly. I don't think we've even covered everything from this week's Picard yet.
Does it have to be any bucket, or will any bucket do it? Are we talking about my university experiences again?
Is there anything else we need to talk about Picard? I think we've
Yeah.
covered.
Yes,
Yep.
lots.
Okay,
Lots.
this week's episode though.
I like
Yeah.
the way Shaw says things like, "Would you like to face the music, stated or uninstated?" to Seven, and goes, "I reinstate you," like he blesses her. And then he leaves the room and says, "I'm going to leave you to get your bullshit stories together."
I like Shaw so much. He's so much like Jellicoe. It's kind of like maybe I've forgotten the actor's name now. They should have got him in just
Robbie
as Jellicoe.
Cox.
Yeah, Robbie Cox.
So Picard, what did you say before that there's bit stories that and characters that tie into things like Ro has popped back up with Moriarty coming back. I wonder if we might see a return of Barclay, because Barclay obviously on the second Moriarty episode.
Well, okay. Well, let's have a quick run round, because there's a particular person I'd like to see. So, if they're going to we've had Ro brought back. If they're going to bring back a character, are you saying you'd like to see Barclay? Who do you like to see?
I would like to see. This is what I'd like to see. I'd like to see Geordie and Barclay.
We're going to get Geordie. So.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see Geordie and Barclay both working at Daystrom.
Okay.
Well, we know
James-
Geordie's in charge of the Fleet Museum.
Yes, but we know that when there was the episode where Robert Picardo's creator, Robert Picardo, as the
Pulaski,
creator,
Martin Zod. I quite like Pulaski as well. Yeah.
the EMH on the Jupiter station, he sort of said, he would leave everything to Lieutenant Barclay. I wonder if Lieutenant Barclay is now head of something like holographic research at Daystrom.
So, James, character you'd like to see?
That's a tricky one. I'm going to say O'Brien.
Well, you would. You're Irish.
Well, yeah, but he was in TNG to start with. Let's not forget.
Okay.
And mysteriously, he appears in the first episode wearing an ensign's pips, and then while he's the transporter chief, he wears lieutenant's pips. And then when he turns up
was
on
a
DS9, he's
Union man.
enlisted.
He was a Union man. He had a soft hand.
He gets busted down to below where he was in Encounter at Fault. I've never understood that.
He was a Union man. Right, I'm going to need the audience's help here to name the character I want to see brought back, and I'm going to state my conclusion to the series and why Picard's going to end up in purgatory. So, my favourite episode of TNG is an episode called Lower Decks, and there's a young ensign in that's coached by Worf and various other officers coming up through the ranks, and she's sent off on a very dangerous mission. Picard sends her off to it, and she dies.
Sita Jaxa.
Sorry?
Sita Jaxa.
Sita Jaxa. So, I mean, that's my favourite episode of TNG. I think it's absolutely wonderful. Not because of her. I think it shows how difficult it is to command a starship, which you don't kind of appreciate always, the human cost. And I would love to see some sort of recompense. I don't know, sort of like Q turn up and go, trade your life for hers. And it turns out she survived that dangerous mission. And Picard kind of gets damned for it. I'd like to see a conclusion like that. I'd like to see that come through. I'd like to see him have one last hurrah where he can sacrifice himself for the needs of someone else. So that's what I'd like to see. Might be a bit emotional.
That's a pretty deep callback, though.
It is, but again, it is my favourite episode of TNG, so that's what I'd like to see that concluded a different.
I thought you told me it was Code of Honor.
Code of Honor is my second favourite, closely followed by Sub Rosa. Code of Honor. Joe, I was watching quite bizarrely. We won during the lockdown. Do you remember we did the spinny wheel watch party and we watched Code of Honor?
Yes.
And they're going on about the vaccine. And it's very poignant, wasn't it? You'll have no vaccine. We couldn't bloody get one, could we?
Oh dear. Well, is that us done with Picard for this week?
I think so. I think we've done enough Picard. It was lovely to see Sarah here, but I'm really glad she's left us to go and watch it because, yeah, bravo to you.
Yes.
Wow. That's now your favourite episode. It should always be your favourite. It's the best episode of Star Trek I've seen. It's my favourite. Wonderful. I think Lower Decks is just, again, it's just because it shows the human cost of command, and you don't get any other episodes that do that.
You know what would be the worst ending to this season of Picard, though?
Oh, Discovery turning up.
No. I can tell you what the worst ending would be. I had it in my head the other day. I was like, oh my God, don't be that. What if it turns out that this is all a very intricate inside Moriarty's hologram cube of a scenario of how would they deal with it if the Federation had been taken over?
Oh, like a training exercise.
Yeah.
Or
It was all a
thought they
dream!
the cube, but in fact he trapped them. So everything post the Moriarty episode in TNG has been a simulation.
You need a glass of water there, James. You okay?
Oh, my chest.
You should probably take that girly rugby top off and put on a football sweatshirt. Jersey.
Yes. But congratulations to my Irish kin yesterday on the Grand Slam.
Oh yes, the Irish won. They won the rugby. They was an important
They
rugby.
won all the rugby. They beat England and they
Right.
won the whole tournament.
I'm pleased that they won it. Well done. Now, moving on. We've covered this week's Picard. I've kind of, I should make this a feature really because I do it every week now because I watch Star Trek Voyager with my kids and they're loving it. This evening we watched. I forgot the name of the episode one where we meet the Dauntless with the quantum slipstream drive. I watched that episode, and so the quantum slipstream drive. This is a technology that was kind of working back in Voyager time, but still doesn't work now. Is that right? It works sometimes.
In the books, they're using slipstream drive all the time.
Yes, forget about the books though. Let's talk about what's canon.
They've all been retconned, so it appears slipstream drive doesn't work.
I think that's the thing. Even though it did work in Voyager times, it doesn't work now. But, oh well. But yes, great episode. The Dauntless, although it's not a real starship is pretty. It's a really nice craft.
Well, it was real. It was just disguised, wasn't it? It was an alien.
Yeah, but it wasn't a Starfleet design or anything.
No, it wasn't. No, but he made it look like it was Starfleet.
Yeah, it would have been really nice if when he dropped the hologram and you saw what it really looked like, if it looked like a mail on freighter, that'd have been hilarious. That'd have been gold.
And of course, then there's the question of the spore drive.
It's just a load of old bollocks, isn't it?
Well, I presume
Well,
when
no,
they
to be
explain
fair.
why it is that no one ever used it ever again.
In fairness, if anyone would like to come on the show and try and explain how it's supposed to work, please do.
It reminds me, you know that scene where Pike says, "So we're going to use some kind of mushrooms to get us across the galaxy, are we?" It's that scene in Red Dwarf where Insane Rimmer says, "So you're telling me you want to fly on a magic carpet?
Meet the king of the potato people to plead for your lives.
Plead with him for your freedom. And you're telling me you're not insane?"
Surely we know that the Federation survives whatever this is, though, because the Federation exists in Discovery.
I think they're distancing themselves from anything in Discovery being canon. I would. Shit.
For the record, we don't hate Discovery on this show. We said it last week, and we'll say it again. Without Discovery, and without season 1 and season 2 being actually all right.
Actually, Dan is correct. We, as a collective, don't hate Discovery.
Yeah, because without it, we wouldn't have Picard. We wouldn't have Lower Decks. We wouldn't have, Strange New Worlds. These wouldn't have happened without Discovery actually, being popular with the networks picking it up and stuff. So we're not going to be Discovery bashing.
And again, we as a collective are not.
Right, other news.
Other news, right. Should we play the news thing?
The spoilers are over thing.
The spoilers are over. Where's the news? I did the news. Ah, here it is. Right, James, I believe you've got some news for us this week.
Have I?
Would you like me to put the slide up that you've selected for news?
Yeah, sure. That'll remind me what it was.
Okay. Here we are.
Yes, this is the availability now in southern England of Ketracel White. And this van is apparently driving around selling a performance-enhancing nutritional supplement in the form of Ketracel White. But bear in mind, you have to be Jem Hadarted by it.
Yes, and in the north, I believe they still call it cocaine. But but in the south, we now call it Ketracel White.
And there was a bear that liked the cocaine.
Gosh, you know what, Richard? I went into a pub of your acquaintance the other day and ordered a pint. And when they told me how much that pint of beer was, I asked if I was getting cocaine with it.
That's what I do at the cinema. Which pub did you go to?
Crampton's.
Oh, yeah. Goodness me.
It's £7.50, please. What?
Did you say... My favourite one is to say to them, does that come with a cigarette?
For afterward, yeah.
Because I quite like a smoke after I've been...
Okay, other news. Real news. I'm gonna take over. In real news, we should soon be hearing from... I can't even remember what it's been called now. Not Destination Star Trek.
No, unofficial Destination Star Trek.
Yes.
In Birmingham, which I'm really excited by because
That's in the north, isn't it?
It's all going to be run in the hotel this year, which is just... Although, James, should we share our anecdote about when we caught the TNG cast trying to climb over a fence? That was...
Oh, yes, let's. Go on, you tell it so well.
That was... So James and I were hungover, and we were moving...
This is on day one as well.
This is on day one.
We've only just arrived.
And we exited the hotel to get to the NEC building. And to be fair, it wasn't signposted well because there was building works and stuff going on. And we saw the entire TNG cast with their kind of handlers. It was a bit like a rodeo, really.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how to get to... And I think it was Gates, actually. It had insisted it was over just a small fence they had to climb and they could get around it. And the fence was, to be fair, was 2 feet high. Watching Michael Dorn, a vegan, trying to get over this fence was absolutely hilarious. James and I stood there watching them for a good 5 or 6 minutes, just watching them trying to get over this fence. absolutely
And
brilliant.
did we not walk up to the fence and then find a gate about 3
Yes.
feet from where they were?
We said, just there is a gate here if you want to go. And they looked at us like we'd just told them to go. It was brilliant. Oh, the memories.
Yes, but the news is that Destination Trek, we should be expecting some imminent news from the organisers. So that's good.
Ooh. What news? Oh no! What guests have we got announced so far that we can look forward to?
Have they got any? Let's have a look at their webpage to see if there's anything physically out there. Let's see.
Oh, Christoph, ye of little faith. Ye of little faith.
Well, I'm just looking to see if there's anything on the page. Well, they said only... Oh, no. Their last post was December the 23rd.
I have faith.
All right, so in the news then, there's no news, but there might be some news.
Hang on a minute. Are we the BBC?
we turned into GB News.
Well, but just before Christmas, they announced that they had Ethan Phillips and Nicole de Boer booked.
I like
and Terry
Nicole
Farrell.
Kidman. I think she's a very underrated actress. I really do. I think she's very good. I'm disappointed she's not been in more since start. I thought she was wonderful in it. I think she's a wonderful actress. So disappointing. She's obviously got a shit agent.
Oh, we saw the news this week. Not Star Trek news, but news nonetheless. Lance Reddick died as well.
Yes, that's sad news. Only 60.
He was the chap in Resident Evil, wasn't he?
Yes, he was also in Fringe, which is a brilliant TV show.
He was the only good thing
Special
about
Agent
Resident Evil.
Royals.
So I'm sorry to hear that he's passed.
And of course, he was the dog-loving concierge in John Wick. So,
Welcome to the... what's the name of the hotel?
Continental.
The Continental, Mr. Wick.
Well, yes, we've got a new John Wick. Oh, yes, we have got a new. My buddy Scott Adkins is going to be in the new John Wick, or is in the new John Wick. And I think Donnie Yen, who apparently has fallen out of favour because he's a communist.
Of course, there is obviously another bit of important news. Can we run the news thing? Because this is actually really important news.
This is real
Really,
news.
it's real news. Yeah.
Okay,
Real
right.
news.
Hang on a minute. There we go.
That's the wrong
It's not
thing.
fake, it is real, and this is the fact that Star Trek Discovery is now being acted in by a Oscar winner, Michelle Yeoh, who won an Oscar last Sunday while we were on the show. I know Richard is a massive Michelle Yeoh fan, and her Oscar is very well deserved. She's the first person, I believe, of how are they describing this? It's the first female
Asian
winner, and much deserved. Michelle Yeoh is very good in whatever she's in. So,
What does she win it for?
she won it
Best
for
Actress.
Best Actress.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Well, is that the name of a film?
Yeah.
Right. Well done, Michelle.
But if you want to see her best film, watch Jet Li's Legend Part 2.
But we do.
That kills off any Section 31 series then, as she'll no longer be affordable.
She was very good in Crouching Tiger as well. I think she might have got a nomination for Best Supporting in that. I can't remember.
My favourite, obviously, as the Empress, she's very good. And I especially like the episode with her with the Guardian of Forever.
Yeah, I mean, I think she had probably the best part written for her in Discovery, yeah.
Yes, so there we go.
We had a lot of good. It's like the chap who played Book. I've forgotten his name now. He was absolutely outstanding in Supergirl. as Manchester Black. He was the best actor by a long way.
Can you tell me one thing about Book? He had this cat, right? And they kept going on about the cat as though the cat was in some way special. Was the cat special, or was it just a cat?
Just
Well,
a
I
cat.
think all cats are special. Cat people are very much into their cats.
Was it like Top Cat?
Am I right in saying though, what other Star Trek actors or actresses have received Oscars in?
Well, I know one person associated with Star Trek who has received an Oscar, and that is friend of the show, Doug Drexler.
What did he get his Oscar for?
I believe he got it for the makeup in Dick Tracy, which is back in the early 90s.
Oh, that's a film. That is
absolutely cracking film. That is.
Isn't that a good film? That's superb. Oh, I do love that film.
Yeah, because the mighty Drex, he started off in the field of makeup, and then he has become our ship master.
Oh, Al Pacino was good in that, wasn't he? He was superb.
But yes, I'm trying to think. Vicky's come in with. Didn't Whoopi get an Oscar?
I think for fried green tomatoes, she possibly might have done. I'm not sure. She definitely got a nod.
I'll go to my internet knowledge base and see what it says.
So I mean, I was just looking at like the what we would call the big ones. You know, Shatner hasn't had an Oscar. Patrick Stewart.
He deserved one.
So Patrick Stewart hasn't had an Oscar.
Okay, so well, let's say
He's got the Whitehood though, which is frankly infinitely better.
No, but let's say what would you give him an Oscar for?
Oh yeah, Whoopi won the Best Supporting Actress for Ghost.
Really? For Ghost? When she did fried green tomatoes? Jeez, okay.
I would say Sir Patrick probably deserves one of those special recognition or lifetime achievement Oscars. You know.
I mean,
he's been in.
You think about Patrick Stewart's films, and let's go all the way back to Dune. Would you give him an Oscar for Dune?
No.
And you think all the way forward to Conspiracy Theory, to Logan. He was very good in Logan.
He was good in Logan.
But is there anything Oscar-worthy, film-wise? This is not. I mean, he did get his nose bitten off in Conspiracy Theory, didn't he? Which was quite good.
I mean, I'm just trying to think if there's anybody else. I mean, it just strikes me as Michelle Yeoh.
Well,
you're absolutely right. I was thinking of completely the wrong film there, Vicky. I do apologise.
Martin says for Excalibur.
She was nominated for The Colour Purple, according to the internet.
Yes, I got fried green tomatoes confused with The Colour Purple due to this.
Richard,
that's why your cooking always goes wrong.
Richard,
Yes,
Martin says, "How about Sir Patrick for Excalibur?"
I don't think I've seen Excalibur.
Or Professor Xavier.
Would we give
Again, he was good in Logan, and Logan I think is a very underrated film, but it's definitely not Oscar worthy.
What about First Contact? Why don't we just give him that?
Again, it's difficult. You have to say if you're going to give someone a Best Actor award, it's got to be for a standout performance, and he has performed better in episodes than he has in that film. So,
for that reason, should he not have? Has he got a BAFTA? You get BAFTAs for TV, don't you?
I'm sure he must. Well, let's have a look at Patrick Stewart accolades.
Oh, A Christmas Carol. That was a good film.
Oh yes, yes, you get a nomination for that.
3 Golden Globe nominations, 3 Screen Actors Guild Award nominations. Don't know what that is. 4 Primetime Emmy Award nominations. Lots of nominations. How many has he actually won? Best Spoken Word Album for Children, 1996. Prof Kiev, Peter and the Wolf. Outstanding performance in A Christmas Carol. That's a theatre award.
I mean, I think it's a given he'll get a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Oscars.
It's had two Oliviers. Critics Award. Don't know what that is. Critics' Choice Super Award.
We could ask friend of the show, Tony, and find out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Well, there you go.
it's a difficult one because the Oscars. Nah, I can't.
I got to tell you, but frankly, whenever Claire suggests to me we watch a film and it's had an Oscar, I say, well, it's not going to be for me, is it?
It's
Is there
quite
a car chase?
rare.
Are there Nazis? Are there spacecraft? No.
Apparently, Everything Everywhere All at Once is meant to be very good. I've not seen it yet. I'm looking forward to watching it. But what I did watch the other day was Cocaine Bear. Now, so if you haven't seen it yet, the basic idea is that it's set in the 80s. It's kind of like Stranger Things. And these drug dealers push a load of cocaine out of a plane. The plane crashes and the cocaine gets scattered in a Yellowstone National Park. And this female black bear eats the cocaine and goes nuts. Now, if you've ever find yourself in a situation where you're being attacked by a bear, the rule of thumb is this. If it's black, attack. If it's grey, lay down. So you're supposed to fight back if it's a black bear, and you're supposed to lay down if it's a grey bear. Because basically, if it's grey, it's grizzly's going to eat you. But a black bear,
polar bear.
Yeah, but the black bear, you if you fight it will like, oh, no way. So it's a black bear that eats this cocaine, and it kind of rampages. This is based on real events, and this black bear rampages, and everyone's like trying to fight the bear off, and it's just kind of ripping people's heads off. It's there's this one bit where this guy climbs a tree. He goes, "It's okay, bears can't climb trees." It's like, yeah, they can. And then next thing you see, he falls down out of the tree, like, and lands like on his head, and he's got a leg missing, and then the leg follows him down and hits him. It's brilliant.
I know what I do. I get my phaser and I just shoot it.
They do shoot the bear several times, but sadly, because of the adrenaline from the cocaine, it doesn't seem to do much.
Spock here. Yes, ma'am.
James's one doesn't do that.
Oh.
Out of here, Captain.
Yes, it does. This second button, if you move it left, right, up, or down, like it's on a tactile switch, it makes voices.
It's true. It does.
McCoy here.
Enterprise Bridge, Lieutenant Uhura.
Yes.
Well,
So anyway,
2 minutes
I
to
don't.
10. I don't think we've got any time for how high are you. Yes.
I sadly don't think that Cocaine Bear is going to win any Oscars. But if you want to sit through an hour and a half for approximately 15 minutes of fun, then please do. Yes, it's kind of, yes. You kept her so white to a targ and see what happens. Yeah. If anyone's going to watch Cocaine Bear, then but the best bit is when the park ranger gets killed.
Can I just point out, we can tell exactly on the stream at what time Mrs. James started streaming something else. Because all of James's internet has gone.
This is James's Minecraft filter.
Well, it's because I've logged on to update my OnlyFans page.
Elephant or snake? What's the female version of that, James?
Something about kebabs, I think. Oh,
I thought it was oyster or clam. My mistake.
Kebab or clam?
If you'd like to play elephant or snake, you should invest in a bag of googly eyes like these.
Yeah. And A hot glue gun. Preferably a cordless one, such as this. And then, you're not restricted by a cord.
Yes, I do have one around here somewhere.
Are your googly eyes self-adhesive?
Yes, but the adhesive isn't very good.
Well, so you want one of these.
Have you done experimentation and asked Mrs. Dillon if it's elephant or snake yet?
No.
Because you've got the googly eyes and you've just told us that the adhesive isn't good, so I'm assuming there has been some experimentation.
Mrs. Dillon is a serious hood, and you don't mess with her.
This just reminded me. Have you guys seen a great film called Logan's Run?
Yeah, it's from the 70s.
Yeah. The gun they use in that is a hot glue gun. It's brilliant. It literally, they didn't do anything with it at all. It's just a hot glue gun.
So talking of like phasers and communicators, when are we getting the tricorder?
Oh, yes.
Well, it's been known to use
Registers
one
still
company for some
interest.
time.
They weren't part owned by Starships, were they?
I think getting the parts they need from China have become difficult. I think that's the problem.
Ugh.
Oh well. Right, so that's our hour done. So thank you for watching. We did have a wish clip, but
Well, we don't have a
Right.
wish clip. That was censored by the police. We do have. We have I Made This, and we also have something that I've.
We've gone over time. We'll save them for next week.
Well, no, this is something I've done special for you, James.
Oh, okay.
God.
Roll VT. Outstanding.
You're welcome. And on that note, on that bombshell,
Starfleet got you pushing too many pencils.
we are a rescue team, not assassins. How
My
do you
men
go about
don't
rescuing
think
these
I'm not
hostages?
Burke.
Let's rescue the hostages by blowing the absolute shit out of that base to make sure not a single hostage gets out.
That's Jim Hopper.
Now, take care of yourselves and each other.
Don't have nightmares.